Hi everyone and welcome. I'm Nasrin Iskandari, a registered migration agent at Australian Portal Immigration, and I will be presenting today's webinar on visa options for migrating to Western Australia. I'm really excited to have you all here. Before we get into the details, just a quick heads up. Everything we discuss today is general information and it's based on the most up-to-date information as of today, 12th of September 2024. And if you're watching the recording later, please keep in mind that the advice may no longer be current. And if you need advice specific to your situation, it's always best to speak with a migration agent like us for personalized guidance. And remember, immigration rules can change, so always check in with a registered migration agent or lawyer for advice that's right for you. Alright, let's get started. Today, we are going to cover some really important visa pathways that can help you make Western Australia your new home. I personally moved to Perth 8 years ago and fell in love with its stunning landscape. But did you know WA is also known for having some of the most family-friendly suburbs in Australia? It's truly a wonderful place to settle down and build a future. And one of the key ways to secure permanent residency in WA is through the General Skilled Migration Visa, GSM. This is a point-tested visa, which means if you score enough points based on factors like age, qualifications and skills, you may be invited to apply for a visa. And the GSM visa program includes subclass 189, 190 and 491. To break it down further, the subclass 189 visa is a permanent visa for skilled workers whose occupation is on the medium and long-term skilled list, and who have at least 65 points in their EOI, expression of interest. So far, this financial year, we have had 2 invitation rounds, and in some cases, occupations like construction trades were invited just with the minimum point requirement. Now, moving to Western Australia's state nomination process, which can significantly enhance your chance of securing a visa. You will get an additional 5 points in your EOI for the subclass 190 nomination and 15 extra points for the subclass 491. Currently, WA has 382 occupations and available on its list, and this financial year 5,000 places have been allocated to the state, matching New South Wales and Victoria, and more than any other state and territory. This is almost 90% increase compared to the last financial year. The best part is there is no application fee, just like the last year. To be considered for the state nomination, you must submit an EOI. WA invites applicants under 3 different streams. In the first invitation round, this year, 600 applicants were invited, 300 for the subclass 190 and 300 for subclass 491, with each stream receiving an equal share of invitations. However, this doesn't mean that 600 places have already been used. Some applicants who have been invited may not meet the nomination criteria for the stream they have been invited under. For instance, an applicant invited under the general stream might not be able to secure a 6 months employment contract in their nominated occupation. The downside with WA invitation is that they invite through the Skill Select website, so you cannot choose to be considered under one stream only, such as the graduate stream. If you are eligible for graduate stream but you receive the invitation for general stream, you must provide documents for that stream or wait for another invitation. In addition, some EOIs have been in the system for a while, and those applicants WA had 2,650 places available and issued 4,188 invitations to fill those places. So we still have a lot of places available. One great feature of WA's process is that even if you are living overseas or in other states, you can still be considered. WA is the only state that accepts applicants who are living in other states. So if your nominated occupation is on the WA list and falls under one of WA's priority sectors such as building and construction, education and training, healthcare and social assistance, hospitality and tourism, I recommend submitting an EOI for WA in addition to the state where you currently reside. For subclass 190, you may need to provide a 6 months employment contract with a WA business to be approved if you are invited through the general stream. But this requirement doesn't apply to construction occupations. For subclass 491, you don't need to provide any contract at all. For the graduate stream, you must have lived and studied in WA for the last 2 years. And one more thing that you need to keep in mind is that if you select both subclass 190 and 491 in your EOI, you might receive an invitation for subclass 491 first, and as you will have an extra 10 points for this subclass, and it will increase your chance of being invited. So you must make sure you have claimed your points correctly in the EOI, because if you are invited, you cannot make any changes to your EOI. So if you have any question about the GSM or WA state nomination process, drop them in the chat and I will answer them during the question and ask at the end. Now let's move on to employer-sponsored visas. If you have a job offer from a WA employer, there are some excellent visa options available, like the temporary skilled shortage visa, the TSS visa subclass 482. This visa allows you to work in Australia for an approved employer for up to 4 years, depending on the nominated occupation. To be eligible for this visa, you must have the required qualification and work experience. This includes at least 2 years of full-time or equivalent part-time work experience in your nominated occupation. If you don't have a relevant qualification, or if it's not at the required level, you may need to provide more years of work experience. And it's also worth noting that this 2-year work experience requirement may change to just 1 year full-time in November this year. And if you work on this subclass 482 visa for the same employer for at least 2 years, you can apply for an employer nomination scheme visa, subclass 186, which grants permanent residency. There is also a direct entry stream for this subclass 186 visa, which requires your occupation to be in the medium and long-term list, a positive skill assessment, competent English, and at least 3 years of full-time experience. For those working in WA, there is another option, the regional employer-sponsored visa, subclass 494. All of the WA, including Perth, is considered regional area. And this visa allows you to live and work in regional Australia for up to 5 years. After 3 years of living and working in a regional area, you may be eligible to apply for permanent residency through subclass 191. The visa requirements are similar to subclass 186, but the skilled occupation list is different. The subclass 494 has 650 eligible occupations, and caveats don't apply. For example, if you are a chef working at a limited service restaurant, the subclass 494 might be a better option than subclass 482 or 186 if the business is located, for example, in WA. Generally speaking, if your occupation is on the medium and long-term list and there is no caveats, subclass 186 is usually the more favorable option, even if the business is located in a regional area. In WA, we also have Designated Area Migration Agreement, which is called DAMA. DAMA is an agreement between the Australian government and a specific regional area aimed to filling skill gaps in the area's labour market. Currently, WA has 5 DAMAs available, including East Kimberley, Pilbara, Southwest, and Goldfields. And with WA DAMA, Western Australia DAMA being the newest one. What's great about WA DAMA is that it offers more flexibility than the standard visa program. For example, you get access to a wider range of occupations, and there are concessions for things like English proficiency, age, or salary requirements. WA DAMA covers the entire state, including the metro area. There are 271 occupations available in metro areas and 310 in regional areas. And it's important to note that WA DAMA excludes FIFO positions or positions where there is another DAMA or labor agreement available for the nominated role. For example, if you are a truck driver working in Goldfields, your employer would need to seek endorsement from the local DAMA body. And this agreement offers 5,000 places per year over 5 years, with 2,500 allocated to the metro area and 2,500 to regional areas. Under DAMA, only 1 year of work experience is required for subclass 482, and depending on the business location, you may need to work 2 or 3 years before applying for permanent residency. DAMA also offers concessions on English for skill level 3 and 4 occupations, and the age limits for permanent visa is 55 instead of 45. In addition, the construction subsidy program is still available in WA. offering construction businesses a 10,000 subsidy for sponsoring employees, which is a great incentive for employers to consider sponsorship. And the Job Connect website allows you to register for free and access automated job matching, linking you with WA employers. WA also provides free settlement services for new migrants, along with financial support of up to $7,500 for onshore skilled migrants to gain skills and training to find a job in their area of expertise. For those considering temporary visa options, there are also several pathways that can lead to permanent residency if you meet the eligibility criteria. For instance, a student visa can be your gateway to WA. This visa allows you to study full-time and work part-time for up to 24 hours per week. If you study a master's degree, your partner may be able to work full-time and your children could have access to free education. If you pursue a Master by Research or a PhD, you can work unlimited hours while studying. You must, of course, be a genuine student to be granted the visa. Depending on your course of study and your age, you may be eligible for a graduate visa, allowing you to gain some work experience in Australia or pursue other visa options. Younger individuals from certain countries may also be eligible for work and holiday visas, a fantastic opportunity to experience life in WA and gain work experience and earn money. This visa can be extended twice if you complete the required regional work. So today we have covered skilled migration, employer sponsorship, regional visas, and some temporary visa options. There are a lot of opportunities here in WA, and we are excited to help you explore them. And you may also be eligible for other visa subclasses. And I hope you have found this information helpful and that it has given you a clearer understanding of the visa options available for migrating to Western Australia. And if you need more detailed advice or assistance, feel free to reach out to us at Australian Portal Immigration, and we are here to help. Now I will take a few moments to check the comments and questions we have received on Facebook or Instagram. And if you haven't had a chance to ask your question yet, feel free to drop in the chat and I will do my best to answer as many as I can. So let's see. I think there is a problem with the live video on Facebook. We will check later. So let's see if we have received any question. Okay. Someone asked how much is the tourist visa, yeah? The tourist visa, it depends if you're applying in Australia or if you're applying outside Australia. If you're outside Australia, the fee is, I think it's 190, but if you're in Australia, it's a little higher, the fee. Labor agreement, both can have age concession. When you apply under the labor agreement stream, you can always request for the age concession, the 482 visa doesn't have any age limit, but the subclass 186 and 494, they have age limits, so you can request to be considered for the age concession under the labor agreement and also under the DAMA. Some DAMAs, they accept up to 50 and most of them up to 55. So let's check the Facebook. I think something. For the question asked on Facebook, we also received a question about the child care. For the certificate 3 in child care, they ask if it will be okay to migrate to WA. So we do have a child care worker, and we also have child care center manager. So for a center manager, we do have different visa options, subclass 482, subclass 186 and 494, but usually you need to have at least 3 years of work experience to get the skill assessment and apply. The 482 doesn't require the skill assessment, you just need to have the required work experience to apply. But under the DAMA, we also have if it's not DAMA, then 494 is the only option for the child care workers, which requires 3 years of work experience as a child care worker. And also for the DAMA, we do have child care worker available in all 5 DAMAs in WA. So if you are here and you have an employer to sponsor you, DAMA is a good option, and the minimum requirement is certificate 3 plus 2 years work experience to meet the qualification requirements, or certificate 4 for the DAMA. But for the 494 is diploma, because you need to get the skill assessment, and the skill assessment requires diploma degree. So if you're considering 494, you need to have at least diploma. But for the 482 DAMA, if you have a certificate 4 and 1 year work experience, or certificate 3 and 2 years work experience, you can apply. Okay. So do we have any other question?
Where can I go for the sponsorship? Oh, the first one is, can a student doing their
So being the
sentence at the beginning?
I don't think so. I'm not sure about the answer for this question asking about being a citizen to join the army. You can check with them directly. Usually for the governmental jobs, you need to be Australian citizen or at least a permanent resident, but you need to check with them directly.
Another one, where can I go for the sponsorship? That doesn't need to be a group leader and not 3 years of experience.
For DAMA, usually you don't need to have, if it's a 482 visa, you may not need the skill assessment, because if you go under the DAMA agreement, but for the subclass 494, they ask for the skill assessment, and the skill assessment requires a diploma and at least 1 year of work experience after that diploma degree. So you need to choose an option which doesn't require the skill assessment if you don't have the diploma or if you are not a group leader, because for the skill assessment and the 494 visa you need to be a group leader. For the DAMA, I think it's available in all the DAMAs, but if you check for the WA, let me check for WA on their website to see what's the requirement. For WA DAMA, we still are waiting for some details to come especially about the skill assessment requirements and what will be the skill assessing authority and if it's required for the 482 visa or not. We still don't have these details. In WA DAMA, we have childcare group leader and also childcare worker. So if you are a childcare worker, so it's a skill level 3, so you need to have a certificate 3 plus 2 years work experience or certificate for 1 year work experience, and you can be considered under the 482 visa. But after 2 years of working for this employer, or if it's in the Perth area, then you need to work for 3 years to get the 186 visa. At the permanent stage, you need to be still under 55.
Another question is, where can I go to have a quick certificate 3 application?
So you want to get the certificate 3. If you want to apply for certificate 3, if you have already have 2 years of experience as a childcare worker and you just need to get the certificate, I can check. So if you are in WA, you can search the course available here in, for example, in childcare. Let me check if we do have the course available. Yeah, we do have certificate 3 in early childhood education and care, and most of them, they are for 1 year. We do have one which is even more than a year, but the minimum time that you need to study is 1 year, 1 year full time to get the certificate 3. We don't have a short one.
Another question, I guess, is related to Margaret River.
Mm-hmm.
In Margaret River, for example, how to get a DAMA?
In Margaret River, so I think the child, so it's the same person asking about the child care. Oh, okay. So if you are thinking of applying as a child care worker in Margaret River, I think it is available because it's covered under the Southwest DAMA. Margaret River is covered. So they don't have any English concession available or for the skill and experience. So you need to have that certificate 3 plus 2 years of full-time experience to be considered, or they can accept 1 year if you have certificate 4 and the age is 55, same as the WA DAMA. There is TESMET concession available. In WA DAMA, we don't have TESMET concession, so the minimum salary that you need to be offered is $7,350. But if it's in the Southwest DAMA, in Margaret River, they can pay 10% less. The only thing with this childcare worker occupation is that it seems to be hard to find a job at the required salary, because usually the offered salary is lower than TESMET, and you need to find a childcare center who provides this salary to the childcare workers. So, do we have any other questions?
Not, it doesn't, yeah, see that, no. It's all what you see, way back.
Yeah, I think we covered the questions that we received on Instagram, and I think there was a problem with going live on Facebook because it seems that it's not working. But yeah. Visas. Someone asked about visas to bring family.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you are a permanent resident or citizen and living in Western Australia, which is a regional area, your family members can apply for a general skilled visa and get 15 extra points for under the subclass 491 for the general skilled visa, but it depends to their situation if they meet the required points or not. And also for the it depends to the relationship as well. So that family sponsorship under the general skilled visa, for example, you can sponsor your cousin, uncle, or some relatives. But for other visa options for the families, usually they need to be in the same family unit. For example, you can bring your partner to Australia if you are a permanent resident or citizen, or your parents can come. But for the parents, we have different visa subclasses available. The fees are different. The processing time is different, and also the eligibility is different. For example, it depends to the balance of the family test. If at least half of the children are in Australia and they are citizen or permanent resident, they may have access to the permanent parent visa options. But if they don't meet this balance of family test, they still can apply, but it will be a temporary parent visa for up to 10 years. And the fees are also different if you apply through the contributory one or the normal one, which takes ages to be granted. So it depends to the relationship really to see if you can bring that family member to Australia or not. But if you're applying together with your family, they can be included as your dependent in the same visa application and migrate with you. And I hope it answered the question.
I think it's so specific for her case, but
Yes.
because my visa expires in March next year, which is a critical sector experience. I'm qualified and experienced educator, and I find myself unemployed at the moment due to all the confusion. So I think she's asking for her specific situation as well.
I suggest you go to WA website, the government website, and I can share with you the link because there is a place that you can go and put your resume. It's a Job Connect website, and the employers they can look their resume and find some employees there. Maybe that could be a way for you to find a job. But if you are on a COVID visa expiring in March, you need to secure a job now because it will take some time for you to prepare all the documents that you need to apply for a visa. But I'm not sure if you're eligible for a general skilled migration visa or not because you're asking about the DAMA and also the requirements for the employer sponsorship. But yeah, I will send you the link, and you can actually put your resume there to see if you can find a job. But we cannot assist applicants in finding a job or an employer to sponsor them, unfortunately. Okay, yeah, I will share it with you. Thank you. Okay, so I think that's it. Thank you all for your great questions and for joining me today. If you need further assistance or advice, feel free to reach out to me or API team to book your appointment. And have a wonderful day, everyone. See ya.